Era una tarde, corría una brisa muy cálida y suave por la rosaleda, cerca del lago leyendo poesía. Estabas oculta entre la arboleda, turbé el silencio con mi pisada. Hubo un suspiro y dos miradas. Era una tarde, corría una brisa muy cálida y suave por el rosedal. Y nos volvimos a ver en aquel mismo lugar, y grabado en un rosal quedó un nombre de mujer, como un recuerdo imborrable de horas vividas hoy de ilusión. Mientras la tarde moría y el sol nos enviaba un beso de amor, mas no éramos iguales y eso nos separaba. Un mundo de distancias había entre los dos. Tú eras de familia muy rica y distinguida, yo en cambio solamente era un trabajador. Vivías entre el lujo en un regio palacio, ningún amor sincero podías tú sentir. Tus autos y lacayos, tu oro y pedrería, tu seda, tus encajes te alejaron de mí. Mas no éramos iguales y eso nos separaba. Un mundo de distancias había entre los dos. Tú eras de familia muy rica y distinguida, yo en cambio solamente era un trabajador.
Hi everyone, happy Memorial Day. We're going to talk about Alfredo De Angelis. That some people, it's a controversial orchestra actually. Many Argentinians love them, especially older generation. And in US, somehow people say, oh, I don't like it. But many people don't know what kind of music he has. He was really, really popular for the public. He was born in 1912. He's like more like a generation of Troilo rather than D'Arienzo or D'Agostino, older generation. He was born in Adrogué, located south of Buenos Aires, and then moved to Banfield, where there was this soccer club that he loved. He even composed tango with the nickname of the tango of the soccer club, taradro, which means drill, because they scored so much, like drilling a hole into the goal. He started playing music when he was young, and soon he became orchestra leader in 1941 when he was 29. At young age, you can see how many bandoneon. There are a lot of members. It's a big orchestra. And De Angelis himself is playing the piano. He played the piano throughout the whole career of the orchestra, unlike some of the musicians that stopped playing. Like some musician kept playing inside the orchestra while conducting, like Pugliese did. Di Sarli kept continuing to play too, and it was an important part of the orchestra. This is De Angelis in TV. He performed many times in TV in the late 70s and 80s. And so many of the older generation that are still dancing today, they remember from when they were young that they used to watch De Angelis also on TV as well. In this picture right here, you can see that De Angelis right here, and the tall young boy is Martel, and then Dante on his side. As a composer, he worked with this poet, José Roturo, Uruguayan. He was actually a hairdresser. He had a side business of hairdresser as well in Buenos Aires after he moved as well. And together, they wrote Nemorino that I played yesterday. Like, oh, sorry. Noche De Poesía, right here.
Tu voz, vuelvo a escuchar tu voz.
¿No? O Pregonera, The Flower Girl.
Un cariño y un clavel para enojar, para el querer. El clavel es de ilusión, mi corazón rojo pulsó.
Very lovely song with beautiful melody of love story, for example, in Nemorino's case. Another song, Pastora, also I played yesterday, Parece un cuento, etc., etc. De Angelis Orchestra was nicknamed or mocked even as Orquesta or Música de Carecita. Carecita is the merry-go-round because it sounded too happy, too light, no? But at the same time, actually, his music was played in the Carecita because it was so popular amongst the young ladies and young mothers. So when they bring the little kids, either their brother, sister, or their children, to the Carecita, that's what they wanted to hear. So his music, De Angelis' music, attracted those public. And therefore, where there are girls, there are also boys. So it was like a magnet for young people. His music is very, with a clear rhythm in the background and very catchy melody and this happy feeling. It's a very lovely music also to dance. Whenever I play this in the milonga, even though people say, I hate De Angelis, I hate De Angelis, I see the floor get packed. Why was his music so popular? He started playing in the radio program called Glostora Tango Club in 1946. This is a legendary radio program. It was played every day from Monday to Friday for 15 minutes, 8 p.m. to 8:15. Right before they start playing this radio drama that was also very popular. And at that time, there was no TV in households. So you can see in this photo from Buenos Aires, radio was like their main entertainment where the whole family gather and they would just keep hearing the music or the dramas, you know, that are acted by actors or comedies or sports broadcast. And it was very, very popular. And they stayed there for 20 years, for more than 20 years. And so they say that when they would debut, like they will play 2 or 3 songs in each program each day, and they would debut a new song, no? They have the repertoire and they sometimes show the new songs. And the next day, when you walk on the street, you would hear people whistling those songs. It was that popular. This Grostora Tango Club was sponsored by the hair product to take over. It was a new brand, Grostora, and they wanted to take over Brancato, which was a very popular brand for Gomina. When you see Carlos Gardel hair very sleek, or the typical idea of tango dancers with the sleek hair, they were using those Gominas, these hair gels, and now Grostora wanted to take over. So they sponsored a radio program to attract the young crowd. And they also succeeded with that attempt. Julio Martel was one of the duos, the famous duos that De Angelis hosted. His real name was Julio Urispe. Again, not very good, doesn't have very good chime. Very young, much younger, born in 1923. He was born in this tiny, faraway town called Baigorrita, 170 miles east, he says, but it's actually west of Buenos Aires. And then at age 5, he moved to Caseros, which is right outside of Buenos Aires city border. And also he grew up Later, he moved to Monroe, which is also a suburb of Buenos Aires. He won a position in De Angelis Orchestra when he was nobody, because De Angelis was holding a contest to find a new singer. And out of more than 100 applicants, he won #1 place, and where they went to celebrate. No? With the Grosador, which is the presenter of the orchestra, Nestor Rodi, who was also a secretary to De Angelis at that time. They went out to celebrate in a bar, and he ordered a cognac. Nestor Rodi ordered a cognac. And then the waiter brought this cocktail called Martel. And Rodi said, there you go. That's gonna be your artist name. Today from now on, you're gonna sing under the name of Julio Martel. That's how he got his name. He started singing in 1943 until 1950. He recorded 63 solo songs along with 17 duets with Carlos Dante. He did an early retirement at 36 years old in 1959 and lived from the loyalty. Carlos Dante was born in Boedo, in the heart of Buenos Aires, of working class neighborhood. He played soccer as a kid, and he started singing very young, also at the age of 21. He sang with Caló, Miguel Caló, Encer Mayeta, with Rafael Canaro, with Francisco Canaro, Mafia, etc. He had a long career. And then he said, I had enough of this artist bohemian life. And he retired from singing and worked at a petroleum company called YPF. And, I have nothing to do with music. But then De Angelis convinced him, come on, you got great singing. Like, why don't you come back? Because De Angelis lost Florial Ruiz, who was his first singer before Martel joined. And normally the orchestra at that time kept 2 singers. The business was going on very well, and there were so many gigs, 1 singer was not enough, so they would normally have 2 singers at the same time. And then Florial Ruiz was asked to join Troilo's orchestra. Of course, he won't say no. So he left, and De Angelis had to find somebody else to match Martel, to be a pair of Martel. And he asked Carlos Dante, and he said, okay, fine. And he didn't sing for a few years, but he came back as a flash. This duo became a big deal. And not only he stayed with De Angelis until 57. This is also one of the longest and most successful duets, combination between singer and the orchestra that we've been talking about, of the Orchestra of Golden Age. It's actually, they recorded more than Echagüe and D'Arienzo, who also had a lot of repertoire and many years of working together. If you can define the number of recordings with the popularity, definitely they did have that. Dante Martel, it's one of the characteristics of De Angelis music is that they feature this duo. There are some other orchestra that has duos, but not as popular and well-fitting for dancing. For me, they are one of the best duos. They recorded 17 songs, and also some songs like Vals that are very pretty.
Soñar y nada más, con mundo de ilusión. Soñar y nada más con un querer arrobador. Soñar que tuyo es él y vive para ti. Soñar siempre soñar, que dicen que en amor es triste despertar.
You all know this song, yes? Soñar y nada más. You can see Martel right here, Carlos Dante, along with De Angelis playing the piano. And in this photo in the middle is De Angelis in the middle, Martel, and Carlos Dante. And this is Nestor Rodi, the one that gave the name of Martel to Julio Martel. He was the secretary and also glosador, the presenter of the orchestra. Now let's start talking about this song, La Brisa. La Brisa is actually sung only by Carlos Dante with the background of the Alfredo De Angelis Orchestra. And we don't know which year this song was recorded. I mean, this song was composed. It's an old song, but Carlos Gardel recorded the song in 1922 with 2 guitar accompaniments. So it was written before that time. So when the first boom of the tango, before the revival of tango coming with D'Arienzo. It was composed by the brothers Canaro. Francisco Canaro, who is a famous orchestra leader, he had many brothers. He was the eldest of many. He was born in Uruguay. But he also wrote many songs that even today are being danced. With the poet Juan Andrés Caruso, as in many poets, writing poem for tango was never enough to make a living, unfortunately, even though they did receive loyalties. He worked as a journalist and a playwright, as in many other poets did as well. He was a really good friend of Francisco Canaro from the childhood, and so they worked together and produced many tangos together, like Cara Sucia, Brisa de Alabar, etc. What is this song La Brisa talk about? It's a story of unattainable love. But unlike Cinderella, it's reverse. Like Aladdin, who was a thief, fell in love with a princess, or in Roman Holiday, where a journalist and a princess fell in love, or in the story of the cowherd and the princess, the knitting girl, it's a Chinese legend, or in Titanic, where a regular guy fell in love with a really rich lady, no? Let's look at the lyrics. How does it start? This is the beginning of love. Era una tarde, it was afternoon, corría una brisa. There was a breeze, warm and soft, muy cálida y suave, por la rosaleda, in the rose garden, which was close to the lake, cerca del lago, leyendo poesía, reading poetry. You were hidden among the trees. Estabas oculta entre la arboleda. It doesn't quite say exactly where, it just describes a location, but I assume it was this very popular destination in Buenos Aires. Remember the map of Buenos Aires? Palermo, right now, which is like the capital of tango, there are many tango places there. It was not so populated. It was a nice neighborhood, but in addition to the nice neighborhood in the north part, there was a big park. There still is a big park. And you can see from the sky right here, the rose garden as a part of that park or the woods of Palermo. And I assume it was a very popular dating spot as well. You can see how popular it was. This is a picture from 1916. This is coming in, what you were looking at from top. Now you can see that. People are going for a walk, etc., etc. This part, like a little bit raised, is this. And is this. There were roses and a very romantic rendezvous spot. I assume that this song, this poem is referring to this particular spot. So what happened there? Turbe el silencio con mis pisadas. Pisadas is the steps, no? How you place your foot on the floor, like in dancing, we call it pisada as well. Hubo un suspiro y dos miradas. There was a sigh and dos miradas is the gaze, the two eyes, two gaze met, no? He looked at her, she looked at him. Just like in cabeceo. Cabeceo is when you nod, but before cabeceo, there's mirada, the look, no? It happens from both sides, yeah? dos miradas. And their eyes met, and then there was a spark. Era una tarde, corría una brisa. Again, there was a breeze, da, 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 in the rose garden. That's how the love started. And then, y nos volvimos a ver en aquel mismo lugar. So they met again. Their eyes met, and so they decided to meet again. And in the rose bush, grabado en rosal, quedé un nombre de mujer. The name of the girl stayed in the rose bush. Engraved, yeah, but stayed, ¿no? Como un recuerdo imborrable de horas vividas, dos de ilusión. Like an erasable memory of hours lived with dreams. So they were in love, they were spending time amongst the rose bush. You can imagine this love story. Mientras la tarde moría, while the afternoon faded away, what happened? El sol nos enviaba un beso de amor, and the sun sent us a kiss of love, assuming also the kiss happened. So they were in love. It's a happy story. So far, so good. But, of course, there is always a but in a story. Más, no éramos iguales, but we were not equal. Y eso nos separaba, and that separated us. Un mundo de distancia, a world of distance there was between the two of us that they couldn't overcome. Like in the story of West Side Story, Romeo and Juliet, etc., etc. Tú eras de familia muy rica y distinguida. You were from a very rich and distinguished family. Yo, en cambio, I, on the other hand, solamente era un trabajador. Trabajador, it means a worker, meaning a working class man. He was not from the rich family. In those times, I assume this is a little bit from a different period, but you know, like as an image, this is a rich lady walking, going through the Palermo trees, woods in a carriage. Well, this kind of working man, no? They are from a different time, different family. This is actually a picture of a Rio Palacio, rich family, Basuardo's house. And inside, this is the dining room and a pool room, and this is the salon. What does a working class house look like? There we go. Conventillo. No, it's made from tins. All the clothes hanging, drying. A lot of people living there, a whole family, and more than sometimes several families. And the kitchen used to look like this. This is like a replica. And dining room look like this. Has nothing to do with the previous picture. Vivías entre el lujo en un regio palacio. You lived in luxury in a magnificent palace. Imagine the picture that I shared, ¿no? Ningún amor sincero podías tú sentir. No sincere love you could feel. This is very, very sad. Tus autos, lacayos, your cars and servants, your golden jewels, tu oro y pedrería, tus sedas, your silks, tu encajes, your laces, te alejaron de mí, distanced you away from me. Because he couldn't achieve that to give her what the life that she was living. And so this is actually a sad love story that he couldn't reach her because of the difference in the class and the income level. A sad story. Well, but it kind of transforms us to the time period when this tango was written, and the dream also the people had, that the working class people, can fall in love with rich people, maybe. And maybe they can even change the world that they live in, perhaps. Same story, but on the other hand, on the women's side, sometimes they succeeded, sometimes they didn't. Like in Evita, who became the wife of the president, was kind of like that. But Alves, on the other hand, because she was a woman from humble origin, married a colonel, and then went back up the ladder. And there are some stories like grisetas, end up very sad. Now let's just listen to the song again.
Una tarde corría una brisa muy cálida y suave por la rosaleda, cerca del lago leyendo poesía. Estabas oculta entre la arboleda, turbé el silencio con mi pisada. Hubo un suspiro y dos miradas. Era una tarde, corría una brisa muy cálida y suave por el rosedal. Y nos volvimos a ver en aquel mismo lugar, y grabado en un rosal quedó un nombre de mujer, como un recuerdo imborrable de horas vividas hoy de ilusión. Mientras la tarde moría y el sol nos enviaba un beso de amor, mas no éramos iguales y eso nos separaba. Un mundo de distancias había entre los dos. Tú eras de familia muy rica y distinguida, yo en cambio solamente era un trabajador. Vivías entre el lujo en un regio palacio, ningún amor sincero podías tú sentir. Tus autos y lacayos, tu oro y pedrería, tu seda, tus encajes te alejaron de mí. Mas no éramos iguales y eso nos separaba. Un mundo de distancias había entre los dos. Tú eras de familia muy rica y distinguida, yo en cambio solamente era un trabajador.
Okay, go ahead and join us. What was the nickname of the Angelis Orchestra?
Calecita.
Calecita. Yes, what did that mean?
Manège.
Is the merry-go-round. Yeah. Which one is the Angelis?
Number 4.
Number 4.
Yes.
Very good, the Angelis. Can you tell some others? Number 1.
Pugliese.
Biaggi, Pugliese. Number 2. Number 3. Di Sarli. Yeah. Number 5. Agostino. Number 6. I'm not sure if you can remember. He was nicknamed Chopin of Tango. Play for Calou. Osmar Maderna, who died very young in a plane accident. Yeah.
Osmar Maderna.
Okay, moving on to the singers. Which one is Dante Martel? Because, you know, this song, La Brisa, was recorded by Dante, but also De Angelis was famous for Martel, the duo. So
Number 3.
Number 3 is Dante. Very good. Martel?
And number 4, yeah?
Number 4, somebody else.
Okay.
What's number
1?
Yeah, number 1. He was tall, young boy. He was very, also very, very, very popular amongst young girls and mothers too. Number 2 is somebody we're going to feature next week. Enrique Campos. Yes, with Tanturi. Number 4.
Fiorentina.
Robert De Niro. Robert De Niro. It's Angel Vargas, who sang with
D'Agostino.
D'Agostino. Yes, number 5.
Mm.
They all have the same
Castillo.
thing. Yes, Castillo, very good. Who sang with?
Tanturi.
Danturi, muy bien. Number 6,
Orchestra.
Podesta.
So young.
I know, I know. You know, they're all human. They don't stay like this all the rest of their life. They change the face, huh? Okay. Now we're gonna go into our Duolingo time. Brisa.
Breeze.
Breeze.
Breeze, yes. Now we won't forget this, huh? Igual,
Equal.
equal, yes. Also, you hear this word a lot in tango. And most of the time that we are not equal, right? Trabajador,
Worker.
worker, very good. In Spanish, J is like pronounced as like H, no? It's not trabajador, trabajador. Number 4, pisada.
Steps.
Steps, yes. From pisar, no? Pisar, to step. Pisada will be the noun, step. Number 5, mirada.
Gaze.
To look.
Gaze, yes, very good. Very good. Gaze from mirar, the act of look. Huh? Mirada as a noun. Very good. Fantastic job. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks a lot.
Ayano.
Thank you,
Thank
Ayano.
you.
Oh man.
Very lovely.
Thank you. It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Next
Thank you,
time.
Ayano.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ayano.